Alright guys, before we get into our new video, I got some exciting news to tell you. On September 15th through the 17th, Holly Mopar Show will be going on in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We're going to have Project Marsha there, and I'm going to be there to tell everybody all about the work we've been doing on Marsha. So if you're in the area, come on out, come to the show, and Kevin Shaw with Mopar Connection Magazine is going to have a special event going on for everybody at the show. Kevin, why don't you tell them about what you're going to be doing for everybody?
Well, the neat thing is that Holly Mopar has been something that Mopar Connection has been involved with since the very beginning. We've actually been on the planning committee, and it's also one of the only events that we actually put up a tent. We put our project cars in there. We're going to have a bunch of t-shirts and stickers and a whole bunch of other stuff. But in addition to doing a walk around with Dave on Project Marsha that we'll be doing Saturday morning, we're also going to be hosting a very unique scavenger hunt. It's something fun for the whole family. We're going to have a whole big list of things that they can find at the show. Fun stuff like find a triple deuce six-pack setup and take a picture of it, and find a picture of a purple Roadrunner horn, and all the kind of little fun things that the family can run around at the event. They don't have to leave the venue to take pictures of. And then the first person back who brings us all, we want to say maybe 20 or 30 things to find, and they show us on their phone, we got a really big announcement to make, in that we've partnered up with Edelbrock, and Edelbrock is putting up a VRS carburetor. We think it's a 750. They're also putting up a fuel rail for that carburetor and one of their 85th anniversary tin signs that hang in the garage. I think it adds up to about $1,200 worth of stuff.
Wow.
So that's a huge prize that's kind of unmatched by any other prize that they're giving out. So we're really stoked to be working with Edelbrock, and we're going to be at Mopar giving that away. So we'll have more information on the magazine. We'll give Dave more updates to share that he can share in the coming months, and just a little bit of how to enter and how to participate in the scavenger hunt. So as more details come out, obviously there's all the legalese that Edelbrock has to do.
Of course.
We don't really care. We don't have any lawyers. We just have fun. But as far as all of the prizes, giveaways, and all that kind of fun stuff, we'll have more updates officially on the magazine, so you can check us out at www.moparconnectionmagazine.com. And you don't need a subscription, you don't need a password or a download. You just go onto the magazine as long as you got Wi-Fi.
There you go. So after you get done watching this video, go to Mopar Connection Magazine, sign up for their email list. You'll get an issue all the time in your email box. You'll get tired of seeing them. You'll get so many issues. But whatever the magazine can you get for free? So sign up so you can get all the information about the scavenger hunt. If you're coming to the show, guys, bring your wife, bring the kids, send them out to go find the stuff so you can get a new carburetor.
That's absolutely awesome. And if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, something's wrong with you. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell so you get all the notifications. Do not miss out on any future videos from All Classics Restoration.
On to the new video. Alright, as you can see, we've brought Project Marsha in to get started on the rust repairs on this project. And I think I'm going to start on the driver's side here. This is the side that Kevin just cut the forward and the rearward lower sections of the quarter off of prior, and has everything Pour 15 coated in here for me, so I don't have to worry about any of that. So I'm going to work on this section here today and possibly move to the rear. Now I've been looking at this rear quarter extension. It's hard for you to see. Let me grab you and bring you back here with me. Alright, so rear quarter panel or trunk pan drop off. They do not make these for the C-body cars. Now this one has some rust in it, but it's not terrible. I think I may be able to save this and make some patch pieces for it to get it back solid so that it's not leaking any water up inside the trunk from here. And then we've got a good solid piece to attach our quarter panel, lower quarter panel section to. That's going to save me a lot of time trying to make something work here. I don't know if a B-body trunk drop off will work somewhat, be close. It may not, But like I said, this one's not, there's still a lot of it here. So I think I can repair this enough to get us a good piece to attach our 1/4 pound extension to. So this is the area I'm going to try and get knocked out in the next few days before we pull Marsha back outside. I'd like to have this 1/4 done from here, this section and that section, and then we can move up to the fender section next, work our way around the car. Still waiting on the floor pans to come in. So while we're waiting on that, we'll work with what we've got and try and knock some of this out so we can really get moving on the bodywork. Alright, I've got my patch panel that Kevin brought me for this car. These are 1/4 skin, lower 1/4 skins, and they're decent. They're all that's available for a C-body car, so it's something to work with. It gives us the general shape. It is a little bit thinner metal than the original, but we'll make it work. Now I've gone ahead and measured on the car from the bottom of the rocker up to where Kevin had it cut, and then I measured here, and then I gave myself a few extra inches because I do remember that Kevin had an issue on the other side when he installed the front one, the front patch on that side, that he cut it the exact length, and then after having to manipulate the patch to get the right shape in it, he ended up a little short on his patch. So I want to give myself a lot of extra material, and I can always cut it down and get it close to where we need it to be, and we'll get it shaped right and get everything installed. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to use my electric shears to cut this off. And I had already notched the section here. Goes inside our wheel opening. Just go ahead and cut this little last section out. Alright, so now I've got a patch panel that we can use. Again, you can see it's got pretty much the right shape to it, but we'll get it put up on the car and see how we need to manipulate this to get it to fit the shape of the car, and then work on getting it put in. Alright, so like I said, they're something to work with, but that's about it. I put this up here, lining up my rear. We've got a lot of overhang here, which is good because I can always go inside the door, make my edge here. I can finish trimming this if I need to, and do an edge inside the door opening. It almost gets us to where we need to be here. I'll have to make a small piece for there. Two of the biggest problems I see are this profile is incorrect. It should not be a 90. These are more like a, I don't know, a 30 or a 45 degree bend. So we'll have to redo that to get this to lay in far enough, because this is supposed to meet up with the rocker panel, and it is so far away it's not even funny. I'm gonna have to, I think this is gonna have to get some curvature put into it. I don't believe this slight body line here needs to be here at all. It's got a very slight, you can see that bend to it there. I don't think that should be in it at all. It's not in the back part, and the rocker panel doesn't have it in it either. So we'll do away with that. And then the back section of it here does not have this body line that goes around the wheel opening. So I've marked it here where the where that body line would be, and I have played around previously to starting on this car with some metal pieces to see if I can get that line put into it. Now I don't think it goes all the way down. I think it kind of comes down into here and then kind of fades out into a smooth bottom section. So probably about probably the width at least of the rocker panel, which is about 3 or 4 inches up from the bottom. It fades out, it's gone. So it fades into where that rocker panel would start. So we'll play around with some pieces of metal and see how we can get this body line put in here and make that little transition so that it matches the rest of the car. We'll work on this a little bit at a time, and that's why I left myself a lot of extra metal, because I have a feeling this is going to want to kind of come down. I don't know how well that's going to work out, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, I'm working on getting this body line put into this quarter patch panel. I've had to sit here and ponder and think about how to do this, but I'm using my bead roller, and basically what I've done is I've marked where my line would be, or my profile needs to be, and I've drawn a line so I can follow it on here. So what you do is you put this into here, and you line up your line with the edge of your die, and then you just let the machine do the work after that. Clamp it down, make sure to hold your panel nice and flat, just let it roll through. Now remember, we want this line to kind of fade out as it comes down here. So the bottom part of this is where the rocker is going to be, so there won't be any line in here. So we've got a profile now, and I'll have to body work all this, because for some reason they put a roll in this here, which it shouldn't have had. If it was flat, it probably would be okay. I wouldn't have to do anything to it. But we need to flatten this area out here the whole length. So I'll have to work this some, and I think that may be enough. I'll have to check it on the car. Alright, so I checked this on the car, and it's kind of hard to tell because honestly most of this here I'm not even going to use, because I've cut this panel so long that I'm probably only going to use up to here. But I wanted to have extra so I can work it and get my shape into it. It's very hard to get a shape put into a panel that's you don't have a lot of metal to work with. It's easier to work this and get a shape that you need into it with a bigger piece, and then cut it down once you've got your shape into it. So I'm going to put a little bit more bead into this and try and get this to kick that way, and then I need to go to my next tool and shrink this edge, which will put a curve. It's going to put a curve in this piece, which it needs. So let's get some more of this here, this way. Put this in here. Just going to tighten it down a little more. I went a little bit further with it, and I took the tension off of it as I was going, because I'm trying to get this to just fade out into here. So I think that'll do. So I'm going to move on to the next part of getting this shape, and go to my shrinker and shrink this edge to get your curve. Alright, next phase of shaping this panel is to use my shrinker. This is a shrinker. This is a stretcher. This is for making curves in metal. Like this edge has some bit of it shrunk, but it needs more. It needs more curve this way. So the way this works, I don't have too many specialty tools, but this and the bead roller were two tools that I bought a long time ago that I knew would help with fabricating custom panels and correcting panels that aren't made right. So what you do is we just put this in here and you just put some pressure on it. You just go along the piece. And as you go along the piece, what it's doing is it's clamping on the metal and pulling it in at the same time.
You need this? I can use it.
So you can see it's starting to put a curvature in it here. As I shrink this, it's pulling it tighter and tighter and tighter, which pulls the whole panel, makes the whole panel get a curve into it. So we'll check it on the car and see how close we got. Well, it's not too bad. This is actually pretty close, maybe a little bit more, and then I've got to get the same roll in the rest of this, which I'm going to have to do on a piece of pipe. I'll roll it on a piece of pipe and it'll get that roll into it, because this body crease they put it in here is just completely wrong. It shouldn't even be there. And then I've got to, what I found was this brake is not consistent. It's 2 inches from here to here, and it's just under 2 by that much here to here. So I've got to redo this brake to the point where it's 2 inches at, and that'll put this piece in where it needs to be on the bottom of the rocker, so it meets that pinch weld. Okay, we're getting closer. We've got the panel now where it's meeting the pinch weld, which is good. That's what we need. So now I've got to get. I need to take a little. I got to take some angle out of this brake here because it's just too much. This is a very. I'm probably going to have to take make a template of this angle here so I can get it right on this piece before I put my roll in. This definitely has got to get some shape to it. This can't be flat. This panel is not flat. It's got a curvature to it. So I want to get my angle correct here, and then I'll put some roll into the rest of this so that it'll fit better, and then we'll start trimming this down and maybe take a little bit more off of the body here. I'm still not sure if I'm going to just butt weld up to here, which I probably will, because this is all good solid metal here, instead of making it go into the door opening. And then we'll just weld it up right along here wherever it meets at. So that's where we're at with this. I'm going to make up a template for here and then move forward. Okay, so I took out some of the angle out of this. Basically, I just laid this on here and went along and would hammer right along the crease. And that did two things for me. It took some of the angle out, and it also lessened the sharpness of this break in the metal, which this break on the bottom of these rockers is not a sharp edge. It's a soft edge. So we want a soft, rounded edge to this brake right here anyhow. So that achieved that on this panel. Now that I've got my angle, as you can see, it's a lot less of an angle here, and it's got a soft edge. I need to get some roll into this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this on here. I'm just going to clamp this in here. And I just want to take and just get some roll into it all the way along. Just trying to put a bit of an arc in it without putting a hard crease in it, which it's starting to do because this metal is just so thin it just wants to crease out. So we're gonna see if we can't do this way. Get it clamped in there good. Just kind of push on it. Just gonna make it kind of bow out. Put some pressure on it here. See what we got. Well, it did a little bit. It's got some arc in it now, which is good. So we'll go check it on the car and see how it looks. Well, believe it or not, that's pretty close. It's pretty close to what we need. So what we've got to do now, I've got to start trimming this down some. First thing I need to do is trim it at the door opening so that this sits in to the quarter panel where it needs to be, and then we'll start trimming our top off and getting our overall length closer to where we need it, and then we can start working what we need to work to get this panel to sit in there right. Alright, as you can see, Project Marsha is back outside, and as I sat down to edit this video on doing the quarter panel repairs, I figured out that the video is a little long for just one video. So we're going to break this video up into several parts, so stay tuned for the next part in our quarter panel repairs as we continue the work on Project Marsha.